Genesis, Beresheet, chapter 7. ויאמר אדוני לנוח, בוא אתה וכל ביתך אל הטבע. כי אותך ראיתי צדיק לפני בדור הזה. And the Lord said to Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household. For it is you that I have seen as a righteous man before me in this generation. מכל הבהמה הטהורה תיקח לך, שבעה איש ואשתו. ומן הבהמה אשר לא טהורה היא שניים איש ואשתו. It's interesting that it says here a man, it literally means a man and his wife. It's talking about animals, and there must be some deeper explanation behind that. But of all the clean animals, you shall take for yourself 7 pairs, a male and its mate. It says they translate male and his mate, but ish v'ishto means a man and his wife. Ish v'ishto. ומן הבהמה שלא תורה היא שניים איש ואשתו. Let's see, maybe Gematria will have something to say about it. That's where I always look. With Gematria. 1024. Ish v'ishto. In ordinal it's 88. Ish v'ishto. Albam is 560. Apash 1005. 88 is pretty interesting. Exodus. Okay. Shiva ish v'ishto min ha'behema shelo torah ish naim ish v'ishto. Okay. גם מעוף השמיים שבעה זכר ונקבה לחיות זרע על פני כל הארץ. Also the birds of the heavens, 7 pairs, male and female, to keep seed alive on the face of the earth. It says Me'of HaShamayim. It doesn't say whether it's pure birds or impure birds. Just birds is just, it didn't differentiate like it did with the beasts, the animals. Anyway, okay, it's a question. Ki liamim od shiva anochi mamtir al haaretz 40 yom ו40 לילה ומאכיתי את כל היקום אשר עשיתי For in another 7 days I will make it rain upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. That's one of the concepts behind the Peel 89 calendar. 40 days and 40 nights is a 40 and 40. And these 2 levels of purple, these 2 shades of purple, they're both 40 boxes. That's one of the concepts behind it. Peel 89. Okay. 40 יום ו40 לילה מחיתי את כל היקום אשר עשיתי על פני האדמה. For another 7 days I'll make it rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I'll blot out all beings that I have made off the face of the earth. ויעש נוח ככל אשר ציווהו אדוני. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. ונוח בן 600 שנה והמבול היה מים על הארץ. So 600 200, it's 160, 120, so it's 40. ונוח בן 600 שנה והמבול היה מים על הארץ. 40, 80, 120, no. And Noah was 600 years old, and the flood came about, water upon the earth. Yeah. Okay, and Noah was 600 years. What I was counting was, here's an idea I speak about usually in my Peel 89s, but in my videos about the Peel 89, but I'll do it here. I was saying, like, if I look at a verse, Noah, okay, he's 600 years old. Where do I find that here? So the answer is that 600 appears, even though this is only 1 through 40, because it's 40 days of rain, okay, Noah appears here, and here. Because 600, and you keep on subtracting 40, you're going to get eventually to 40. And that's the rule of 40, which comes from these verses. So when I see Noah, and I want to see him in this calendar, I see him on A5. I can see Noah, meaning his age of when he went into the Teva. I see him on H10. That's his age when he went into the Teva. Okay? ונוח בן 600 שנה והמבול היה על הארץ. And Noah was 600 years old, and the flood came about, water upon the earth. ויבוא נוח ובניו ואשתו, ונשב בניו איתו אל התיבה, מפני מי המבול. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him, into the ark because of flood waters. ומן הבהמה הטהורה, ומן הבהמה אשר איננו טהורה, ומן העוף וכל אשר עומס על האדמה. Of the clean beasts and of the beasts that are not clean, and of the fowl, the birds, and all that creeps on the earth. שניים באו אל נוח אל התיבה, זכר ונקבה כאשר ציווה אלוהים את נוח. 2 by 2 they came to Noah, to the ark, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. ויהי לשבעת הימים, ומי המבול היו על הארץ. And it came to pass, after the 7 days, that the flood waters were upon the earth. בשנת 600 שנה. What's very interesting about this is that it's going back and forth. It's not really one straight chronological telling. It's like it's going during the flood, back before the flood, and it's saying, and it was for 40 days, and then it goes back, and then they're about to go in, and it says his age, and then it says his age again. It's kind of, it speaks in a very like choppy, or one might even say multi-dimensional, multi-chronological kind of way, which is interesting. I haven't quite figured out why it does that, but there, I'm sure there's some reason why. Anyways, verse 11, in the 600th year of Noah's life. Okay, there's 611 again. You see here? In the sixth box, you have box 11. I said this in regard to Psalm 6, which has 11 verses, but here you have the same pattern. You see what I'm toning into patterns? It says in the 600th year, which is like a sixth, of Noah's life, in this verse it says in the second month, on the 17th day of the month. By the way, as I read Jubilees, this day that the flood happened is the same day it says, like in this Genesis account, when the serpent tempted Eve and got her to eat the fruit of her own free will. We don't know what date it happens, but the book of Jubilees gives the date. And it's the same date that the flood happened. In the second month, on the 17th day of the month, is when Eve ate of the fruit. So I'm seeing it here, and it's interesting. It's not Sheshmiot, but again, you see 217. You see 217 here again, too. The second box is 17. 217. So that's also, see, it's biblical stuff. This is a biblical analyzing mathematical tool. That's what it is. Okay, back to the study. Verse 11, right? Okay, again, this in the 600th year, בשנת 600 שנה, לחיים נוח בחודש השני, 17 יום, החודש, ביום הזה, נפקו כל מעיינות תהום רבה, וערובות השמיים נפתחו. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on this day, all the springs of the great deep were split, and the windows of the heavens opened up. ויהי הגשם על הארץ 40 יום ו40 לילה, and the rain was on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. בעצם היום הזה, בא נוח, see, it goes back and forth. It goes to, and then it's going, then goes on that day Noah's going into the church, but then it was into the ark. But anyway, בעצם היום הזה באו נוח השם וחם ויפת בני נוח. Beresheet Noach Shloshet Neshe B'nav Itam El Teva. On this very day, Noah came, and Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, and Noah's wife and his sons and 3 wives with them into the ark. Hema v'chol chaya lebina, v'chol behema lebina, v'chol remes romes ha'aretz lebineu, v'chol ofish lebineu, kol tzipor kol kanaf. They and every beast after its kind, and every domestic animal after its kind, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every fowl after its kind, every bird of every wing. Interesting. Kol tzipor, kol kanaf. Usually it says tzipor kanaf. What's this all about? Kol tzipor, kol kanaf. That's interesting. Kol tzipor, kol kanaf, 626. Alabama 1313. Kol tzipor, kol kanaf. Anyway, ויבואו נוח אל התיבה 2 מכל הבשר, איש בו רוח חיים. And they came to Noah to the ark 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which there is the spirit of life. והבאים זכר ונקבה מכל הבשר באו כאשר ציווה אותו אלוהים ויסגור אדוני בעדו. And those who came, male and female, of all flesh, came, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Again, it says, it keeps repeating it. Now the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased. And they lifted the ark, and it rose off the earth. ויגברו המים וירבו מאוד על הארץ ותלך התיבה על פני המים. And the waters became powerful, and they increased very much upon the earth, and the ark moved upon the waters. המים גברו מאוד מאוד על הארץ ויחוסו כל ההרים הגבוהים אשר תחת כל השמיים. And the waters became exceedingly powerful upon the earth, and all the lofty mountains that were under the heavens were covered up. 15 אמה מלמעלה גברו המים ויחוסו ההרים. 15 cubits above did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered up. 15 cubits above Mount Everest? Wow, that's high. Okay. ויגבה כל בשר הרומס על הארץ בעוף ובבהמה ובחיה ובכל נשרץ על הארץ וכל האדם. And all flesh perished that moved upon the earth, among the fowl and among the cattle and among the beasts and among all creeping creatures that creep upon the earth and all mankind. כל אשר נשמת רוח החיים באפיו וכל אשר בחרבה מתו. Everything that had the breath of the spirit of life in its nostrils, of all that were on the dry land, died. וימח את כל היקום אשר על פני האדמה מאדם עד בהמה עד רמס ויד עוף השמיים וימחו מן הארץ. Sort of the redundancy said, no, it looks like it's redundant. It says, and he wiped out, and then they were wiped out. מן הארץ וישאר אך נוח ואשר איתו התיבה. And the flood blotted out all beings that were upon the face of the earth, from man to animal to creeping thing to the bird of the heavens. And they were blotted out from the earth. See, it's blotted twice. And Noah and those with him in the ark survived. ויגברו המים על הארץ 50 ומאת יום. And the water prevailed upon the earth 150 days.